And now it's going to be a sack. Chris Jones smokes Phillip Rivers right back at the 40.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Kelce, great catch, touchdown, Kansas City. He's around Standard. Look at him go! Impossible! Touchdown, Kansas City. Carr's in trouble. He is going to be pulled down and sacked. Justin Houston.
What an improbable victory. I already have grandkids. Hopefully Carter and McKenna will give you some. And when you do, you'll bounce them on your knee and go, let me tell you about this day back in 2018. 27-24 in overtime. I said it on the air. The Chiefs were at the edge of the plank with Blackbeard poking the sword in their back. What about this victory for Kansas City?
It's a character-defining win for this team. When you look at everything that they had to come through, it was a back-and-forth game, and you look at the Ravens team, you saw their 7-5 record. You knew they had a good defense. You knew Lamar Jackson had kind of created the spark. This was a better football team than the 7-5 record show. You talk to those guys in the Chiefs locker room, they couldn't have more respect for this Ravens defense. But at the end of the day, 15 goes out and plays like a guy who wasn't making his 14th career start, making huge plays in the biggest of situations. And Spencer Ware, going over 100 yards from scrimmage, physical yards, not going down, providing a little bit of a spark when it was needed. Everybody stepped up in this one. It was one of those games you're going to remember.
Couple things here. Let's talk about the 4th and 9. Speaking of the end of the plank, a play by Mahomes of 48 yards to Tyreek Hill. That one defies physics. I don't know what the probability was from the Drake University Actuarial Science Department, but it had to be .001.
I saw that he was running 15.96 miles per hour and scrambled 31.2 yards. Next Gen Stats, they saw the play. They needed to get those numbers out immediately because it's a play you are going to see for a very, very long time. I talked to Mitch Schwartz in the locker room about that play, and he said that it doesn't become commonplace, even though they've seen it so often, but it's special. And we need to appreciate what we're seeing right now because it's ridiculous.
What we also need to appreciate is how Justin Houston took the game over. Yep. He took the game in overtime over, gave the Chiefs a chance to win it in regulation. We'll hear from him later in the show.
And we got to start with the grit, the guts, the toughness of you, your coaching staff, and the 53 guys on this roster.
Yeah, I'm proud of the guys. You know, that's a good football team right there, and they're tough. And so, you know, to come out on the end of that the way we did and just bear down for 4 quarters, I thought was great. There were some great individual plays when we needed to by great players, and really helped us down the stretch.
Your running back core, you get them all involved. Spencer's out there hard running up the middle. Damian, I thought, had some great catches on the edge and some yards after catch and run. And then you got Darrell in there as well, your whole core.
He did. Right at the end, Darrell got in, and he's a rookie from LSU, and he got a couple nice runs in, and we have a lot of trust in him. So he had an opportunity today and took advantage of it.
You got a big 4th down play conversion from Tyreek Hill. It sets up couple of situations there in overtime. And number 50, wow, Justin Houston, how good is it to have him back?
Well, it was great to have him in there. He's a heck of a player, and when I tell you about great players stepping up when you need them, he stepped up right there and made a great play, and there was no doubt he was getting there, and then to be able to get the ball out was great.
I love how this team works together. Harrison Butker doesn't quite get it done in regulation, but he gets the chance for redemption. How's Harrison Butker's mental set right now?
Well, it's good now. He made that last one. That was a big one, and so he's been so consistent for us, and he's done a great job throughout the year, and had a chance there, you know, with a couple big ones there down towards the end, and particularly that last play before the one he made. So listen, the bottom line is he kept his head up. I saw a lot of guys go over there and tell him, hey, we're going to need you again and get yourself right, and he did.
Okay, you've been around a lot of coaches. He's coached in a lot of games. But at some point, you have to be feeling your stomach rumble at a game like this. I mean, what do you think Andy Reid is thinking watching this thing tip from one possible ending to the other?
Well, are you saying that you were nervous? I mean, I wasn't nervous in this game.
I'm still gripping the desk.
I mean, I was eating, I was relaxing. Right. I had my pinky up with some tea. It was all relaxed in this game. I don't know what you were stirred up about.
We'll have a truth session later, Dana. We will. Let's talk about a guy who likes talking to us, and that's Chris Jones, who's a lot of fun, but also huge impact on this season for the Chiefs. 9 straight games with a sack. It's a new team record. He has 11.5 for the year. What has changed with Chris Jones?
I just think that he has been committed to this defense. He understands what's asked of him, and he's done an outstanding job. Now, to me, there's times where there's been lulls in his play, but you have to commend him for being a guy on the defensive front that is undersized at that defensive tackle, but yet capitalizes on opportunities. It seems like when plays are needed, number 95 seems to be in the mix. 9 straight games to get a sack is an outstanding feat for Chris Jones.
You say undersized. I see him. He's at 6'6". I'm like, hello, Mr. Jones. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
I wish I had that luxury of saying he's not oversized. But anyway, Justin Houston, obviously big impact on this game. One-on-one next here on Chiefs Rewind. We'll hear from him about his big play and this big win.
3:07 left first quarter. Mahomes under center. Damian Williams tries the right side. Slams into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. And the Chiefs strike first, tasting the sweet nectar of the end zone as Damian Williams gets his first touchdown as a Chief.
Someday he'll be in the Ring of Honor. And on that day, they may play this game. Justin Houston, you took the game over. A chance to win it in regulation. But in overtime, they couldn't block you. What was the difference?
It's amazing the things that can happen when you call on the name of Jesus. I just knew we need to make a play. Number 74, Juice, he came up to me on the sideline, and he pretty much called me out. He challenged me. He said, I need to see that same energy you have during the week. I need to see it now. You the leader, you need to take over. I need you right now. Do your job. I took that challenge on. I'm glad somebody stepped up to me and challenged me. And like I said, glory be to God. I'm just happy I was able to do what I was able to do today.
Just, we know that every win is big and they're all important and you guys clinched the playoff spot, but just because of how you guys won this game, it was back and forth, it was complimentary football. Just how can you guys use this kind of win moving forward? And what kind of team can you build around as far as like the character of the team?
I think it shows what type of team we have. We have a lot of heart as a team, as a whole. We was challenged. It definitely was a playoff game. Offense, defense, special teams had to make plays. You had to play in all phases because that was a great team. Defense played great. Offense had a great scheme, and it made your defense play sound football. Everybody had a job to do, and it showed when one person didn't do their job because they attacked us. So anytime they made a big play, it's because one person didn't do that job. So they was capitalizing on our mistakes. So it showed what we need to work on as well. So anytime you can get a victory making mistakes, that's big for your team.
I want to ask you this. You and I talked during the week. You said you've got to hit the quarterback in this. This is taking back your college days. But the big play, too, is one's a sack, but you defend the quarterback draw and basically got Jackson out of the game. What about being a sound in this game from an assignment standpoint?
I think that was big for us as a whole. We had to communicate as a team, as a defense. So when we got to the sideline, that was the biggest thing, talking and not getting off course. We knew they was going to make plays, but we stayed on course. And we just communicated amongst each other from the front line to the linebackers to the DBs. We communicated all game. Even on the field, when we had timeouts, we came together as a whole and we talked about what we need to do. So anytime we get in that situation, we need to communicate at all times. And we did that today, and we came out with a victory.
I want to ask about the other side of the ball real fast, because every time you guys speak to the media, you're asking about what Patrick Mahomes is showing out on the field for a guy who's made 14 career starts. Just when you're on the sideline and you see some of the plays, like the 48-yard play to Tyreek Hill on 4th down, just what's going through your mind as a defensive guy, seeing what your quarterback's out there doing?
It's sad to say, but I get a little nervous, but I really don't get too nervous when I see that kid on the field. That kid is special. Him and Tyreek, the things they can do, that offense is just special. They got a lot of things going, and they're clicking on all phases on offense. So the offense like that, we just know we need to get our offense the ball and get more stops. So anytime we can get any kind of stop to put our team in that situation, we happy, because we know once Pat get that ball in his hand, the sky's the limit on the things he can do.
Final question it deals with, and you've been a leader on this team since 2011. Sunday, Thursday, turnaround. How do you reboot the computer in a showdown division game?
We focus on them like right now. You don't have time to worry about nothing else, not even to worry about this victory. We focus on the Chargers. So right now, I'm about to go home and rest my legs and watch film. So I don't have time to rest. I'll rest after Thursday.
That's the present. This is the future right here. Chiefs win it in overtime.
Very cool. Okay, so we have the pivotal moment every week, right, Dane and Hughes? And, I'm thinking 48-yard pass play. I'm thinking something Mahomes did maybe. But Justin Houston mentions stops, and yours is a big stop.
Yes, we got to give some love to the defense, Tom. I mean, this is one of the first times this season where we can step up and say that the defense did their job. 4th and 1 in a crucial situation, the Chiefs defense stepped up. The front guys, the front four, Allen Bailey, you see Justin Houston in the picture, making the play that was necessary to turn the ball over, turn the field over, and get that Chiefs offense the ball back.
And it plays a part in our by the numbers here. 1 for 3 on 4th down where the Ravens penalties for once really
Yes.
not penalizing the Chiefs the most.
Less than double digits.
Yep. Big step for them in time of possession, not what we probably expected going.
Yeah, the Ravens have did an outstanding job. Since Lamar Jackson had taken over at the helm, they have beaten out opponents in time of possession each and every game. The Chiefs flipped that script this game, and that's what was the catalyst to them winning the game.
Do you think the penalty thing was really bugging these players?
Yes.
Knowing how many they were piling up, how do you turn that around? Because you don't want to change your mentality, but you know you can't keep them up.
Well, you also go back to the Thursday night game. We were watching Thursday night football in the NFL, and there were comments made about the NFL officiating being paying close attention to holding calls, maybe even increasing holding calls in the latter part of this season. Well, I'm sure that the offensive linemen for the Chiefs made note of that, and they were able to come out and play a cleaner game than they had to play all season long. To me, attention to detail, being conscious of what's going on the field, being conscious of what the officials are looking for, and being able to play a clean, winning game of football. To me, that was the utmost priority, and they did an outstanding job.
You mentioned the offensive lineman. My own personal pivotal moment, Eric Fisher, big 72, jumping on a fumble from Mahomes late in the game, giving him some love too. We go inside the locker room next here on Chiefs Rewind.
After a game that made all of us hold our breath there for a while, the Chiefs get a huge win over the Baltimore Ravens, 27-24 in overtime. Inside that locker room, the players attributed this to a strong defensive performance and their ability to slow down the run and slow down the Ravens' Lamar Jackson, but also on the offensive side, an ability to finish. A team that's known for running, how were you able to contain Lamar Jackson? And they had a good day running, but how were you able to slow it down?
You have to play assignment football. With that offense, if you're not on one page as a defense, they'll really crush you throughout the game. So we was able to make some plays. We still make mistakes, but we was able to make the pivotal plays.
Big days from you, from Justin Houston, especially that final strip there at the end. What's going through your mind?
We just got to get there. We got to keep rushing. You never know when the opportunity is going to present itself. The game's on the line. That's what we want to be able to do.
You clinch a playoff spot. How good does that feel?
Great. We got to keep this thing rolling.
A big win for the AFC. I know going forward that would have made things a little bit more tougher to get a home field advantage back here at Arrowhead, which was amazing today. I mean, they really brought it there at the end. I think they made a huge difference for us.
Was it as physical a game as it looked?
Without a doubt. I mean, that's a physical team. Baltimore, year in, year out, they're gonna bring it. So I think our O-line, D-line matched the intensity. All 4 quarters and plus into overtime, and it was just it was a fun win.
What kind of tests did you pass today?
Closing late games. 4 minutes left, we're down, I believe, 7. 4th down, finding a way to not only put 7 on the board, but get a strip sack late. I mean, this team just keeps fighting. I think that's a testament to each other. You know what I mean? It's endless.
Okay, this was a game that was built for social media and crazy reactions and people sharing their feelings and spilling them out onto their keyboards, including one man who pitches for the Kansas City Royals. We begin our social media reaction segment with Danny Duffy. LOL, you guys are a cheat code. It was the Mahomes no-look that had everyone talking. I kind of like cheat code as his nickname.
Yeah.
It's my own thing.
Patrick Cheat Code Mahomes.
Cheat Code Mahomes.
I like that better than Showtime.
Nate Burleson's never seen this in a game ever. I mean, look at his head. It's not looking. And there's the receiver, and the ball is going that way.
And there's a defender between the receiver and the quarterback, and yet he's still able to make the throw.
Okay, MVP BJ Kissel, I am on board with you, sir. And I want to have this brief discussion, and I can talk about this with my buddies another time somewhere else.
I'm not your buddy?
You're a buddy.
Okay.
Let's have our buddy discussion here. The Drew Brees talk was for most of the season, but as Patrick really cemented, I know there's time left.
Yeah.
But he's got to be the front runner.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
he threw for 377 yards in this game, and you'd like to believe that he's on pace, obviously, before this game to break multiple records, Peyton Manning's touchdown record being at the front and foremost, but yet he's still an amazing talent that's doing an outstanding job at that quarterback position. Drew Brees had a little bit of a stumbling block against the Dallas Cowboys last week, but I have to believe that Patrick Mahomes has put himself at the forefront of that MVP kind of conversation because of the things that he's able to do on the field. And the fact that you look at the arsenal that was inactive today. Yeah. Sammy Watkins not playing, obviously Kareem Hunt and everything that's gone on with that. The fact that he's still able to produce in the way that he's able to do it has been outstanding to me. He should be at the forefront of that MVP conversation.
That's a good point, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Like
we
being your buddy.
established that. Yes. DeMarcus Robinson's also our buddy. He's up next here on Chiefs Rewind.
Third down, 7 for the Ravens. Jackson in the pocket. He's had him taken down. He is sacked, and sacked by Chris Jones. Chris Jones, his 9th consecutive game with a sack. A loss of 7, and the Ravens have to punt the ball.
DeMarcus, it looked like this thing was going the Ravens' way. What about the guts of this team and what it showed today?
Man, we showed a great team, great enthusiasm. They had great team come out and play us today. We just tried to give it our all, man. We knew they'd come out and be physical, so we just tried to match their physicalness and their intensity, and it was a good game.
We've seen it 2 weeks in a row now that you've made huge plays in big situations. I want to ask from your point of view, because everybody's seen the no-look pass from Pat from his point of view and behind. I want to know what it's like from your point of view, knowing that he's not even looking at you, know the ball's coming your way.
Man, you just have to stay always with your head on the swivel. You never know where's the ball going. You just have to run your route, and then once you see him scrambling, you got to try to get in his vision, and we did a great job of connecting tonight.
What about, though, the mentality of this team? Was there any doubt in the huddle? It's 4th and 9. You got to get, and you get a 48-yarder. Just the mental toughness of this team right now.
Yeah, I jumped. I had a penalty to play before the 4th and 9, and everybody was just so calm. I'm like, man, I just made a big mistake, and everybody was like, oh, you good? Go make a play right here. We good. And I'm like, it's 4th and 9. It's like 53 seconds left, and man, everybody just stay calm and keep a cool head. And Pat's always lead us to great things, man, and he did it again today.
As big as we talk about this game and this win being clinching the playoff spot, the facts are you guys don't have a lot of time to celebrate this one, knowing you got the short weeks. How important is it not just to get the mental side prepared, the game plan, but get your bodies right for Thursday night?
Oh, yeah, man. We were already talking about it. We're getting in there right now. We got guys in there that's a little banged up, and we're going to be in there early tomorrow, man, trying to grind and trying to get better each and every week.
Situational football. And final question here. In the overtime, you get the field goal. Needed a touchdown to win it. What about your defensive teammates, particularly Justin Houston, in pulling this out?
Man, it was a great play. We always talk to each other once they going on the field and once we going on the field. Just y'all keep y'all head high, man. We got y'all back no matter what. And they had a great job tonight, and they stepped up and made a play.
Nobody loving that 48-yard play more than DeMarcus Robinson. Okay, Dan, in time for our chief observations here. We're going to start off with the defense stepping up, especially what did you see from them?
Well, I thought the defense did an outstanding job. Probably one of their better days all season long. Although they had a game earlier this season where they got multiple turnovers, this game just forced the one turnover, but stepped up at crucial times during this game. They hadn't obviously gotten a lot of love this season because everything has been on the offense, but the defense stepped up, especially in the fourth quarter when it was necessary to make those stops and get the win. They did an outstanding job.
We have seen Patrick Mahomes use his full array of weapons, but you continue to be impressed. How so in this game?
Well, you consider Patrick Mahomes, he's had an assortment of guys that have come in and have been a part of this offense. You consider Damian Williams stepping in, scoring 2 touchdowns in this game. Patrick Mahomes has thrown to 10 different receivers this season as far as touchdown passes.
Wow.
An outstanding job getting everyone involved, keeping everyone engaged, and taking full advantage of that full arsenal of talent.
Maybe Gary Dieter someday when the beef is over. Okay, Kendall Fuller, you liked his game today.
Oh, outstanding job. He had 7 tackles, 3 passes defended. When it was necessary to make a play in the end zone or out in the field, Kendall Fuller came up with the plays. To me, one of the knocks that I've had all season long about this defense is capitalizing on passes down the field, Tom.
Yeah.
Not necessarily making plays on the ball, getting turnovers and interceptions, but when it was necessary today, this defense stepped up.
Big day for him, big day for the defense when they had to step up, as you say. Okay, from the podium, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, that's coming up next here on Chiefs Rewind.
I think I'm most proud of the resiliency of the group, the highs and lows, ebb and flows of the game. Nobody was hanging their head. Everybody came out and they remained positive and kept themselves in attack mode, which on both sides of the ball and special teams, Bucker at the end ended up being the hero. So everybody was looking at him like, he missed 2 kicks. And then he comes back and he's the man. He had the 1 interception, but other than that, this was, I thought, his best game, just for a lot of reasons. But he really did a nice job. This defense was a huge, huge challenge. These son of a guns were really good and had a really good package, and they unloaded it at him, and he kept bringing it. And I'm proud of him for doing that. That's you can get a little defeated there. You get sacked or hit as many times as he got hit, but he stayed right in there and kept firing. So proud of him for that.
Yeah, I mean, these are the best wins. I mean, when you have to battle, I mean, you trade blows with somebody. I mean, that's a great football team, physical football team, and has a lot of talent. And so when you trade blows with a team like that and you come out with a win in the end, I mean, those are the wins that you remember. Those are the wins that really satisfy you the most. It was supposed to be a pass that went to the left, and so Tyreek was kind of clearing out. And so when I scrambled to the right, I knew I didn't have a lot of guys back there, and luckily he just kind of worked back to me, and I saw him. And when it's 4th down, you got to give it a chance. And so I just put it out there, and like I said, I mean, he came back to the ball in front of, I think it was Weddle, and then made a great catch. It might have been Mosley actually, and made a great catch. And so I mean, those plays, you got to have guys that are on the same page. You have to have the offensive line blocking their tail off.
They're still celebrating here at Arrowhead, a 27-24 victory in overtime. But now what I think is the most challenging sequence in all of professional sports, the Sunday to Thursday turnaround, particularly after a game like this with an AFC West showdown with the Chargers.
And particularly a game in overtime. That's extra snaps that these guys have on a short week anyway, but they do this every week. The good news is it's at Arrowhead. It's a home game, but yeah, they've got about 5 minutes to enjoy this victory. And this is one of those weeks where you lean on Barry Rubin, the strength and conditioning staff, Rick Burkholder and their staff, getting these guys' bodies ready to play. It's one thing, especially against a familiar opponent, you kind of know the scheme, you practice. That's why they go through this, the deal during OTAs and training camp. They spend time working on the Chargers. They have a short week. They understand the scheme. They prepared for it before, but they got to get their bodies ready.
Yep.
And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Rick and his staff to get them ready, but it's not going to take much to get up for that game because everybody knows what's on the line in that one.
Yeah, and they're not traveling. That's a big boost. Yeah. I mean, I saw this in 14, a game like this. They beat the Seahawks and couldn't beat an 0-10 Raiders team. Yep. Then last year, a tough game against the Steelers and a loss at home, and then could not beat the Raiders in Oakland. Now, you have a showdown game, a lot on the line here. Let's mention this. The Chiefs are in the playoffs. We haven't mentioned that yet. But now you have a showdown game with Rivers on a Thursday night where it'll be nothing but guts and figure out how much you got.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want if you're the Chiefs. We talk about this, and it wasn't that long ago. You look back at 2012 before Andy Reid got here, and now you mentioned the playoffs. It's 5 of 6 years now that they've gone to the playoffs, but you fight for being in a position to have games like they have on Thursday night, because as big as that game is going to be, as we're going to talk about, it's going to be the build-up to Thursday night, one of the biggest Thursday night games of the year. The fact is, this will be like the 3rd or 4th game like that they've had. The Rams game was the same sort of way, and the Patriots game early in the season. This is one of those games that everybody's going to be tuned in for. They got to go out, prove it again, keep that top spot in the AFC.
Just a little over 90 hours until that game. kid you not. He's BJ Kissel. I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Chiefs win in overtime against the Baltimore Ravens. And by the way, New England lost and Houston lost. Just saying, get ready for Thursday night.
I am with Mitch. The Sunday to Thursday turnover is really tough for any NFL team, and now it's the Chargers and what could be the game of the year, Dan. The AFC West on the line essentially in this game. The Chiefs helping themselves out today over the Ravens. But when you look at the Chiefs, they beat the Chargers week 1 in LA. What has changed since then, and what will be different in this game?
Well, I think if you go back to week 1, at any point in the NFL, you are still questioning what type of team you are. A lot of people had picked the Los Angeles Chargers as being the #1 team in the AFC West coming into the season. Well, they got a little bit of a blow early on against this Chiefs team. They've been able to be strong all throughout the season. This game coming up is very important. I had talked about all week long, if the Chiefs could win these 2-game stretch between this game today against the Ravens and against the Chargers on Thursday, they would put themselves in the optimum position of being a 1 or a 2 seed as far as the playoffs are concerned. That's what makes this so important, Tom. This team is different. Yeah. They're one of the more complete teams, offensively, defensively, and special teams in the AFC. The Chargers have done an outstanding job growing during the season. It's going to be a strong, strong opponent for the Chiefs this Thursday.
Joey Bosa was not in that game, and the Chiefs unsure if Sammy Watkins or Eric Berry will play or if Melvin Gordon will go for L.A. Yep. I imagine those are 3 guys who's playing or not playing could totally swing the outcome, or do you see it really being defined without those 3 in the equation?
Well, I think you have to think about those guys not necessarily being a part of the game. You'd like to see Eric Berry. I think it would be an outstanding move by the Chiefs, especially if he's ready to be a part of this game on Thursday night at Arrowhead. I can imagine how the fans would relish over that opportunity of seeing 2-9 back there on the field. But you have to also look at the big picture. There's a lot of games to be played coming into this week against the Ravens. They had 3 of the last 4 games at Arrowhead. We'd like to see 5 of the last 6 games at Arrowhead going into the AFC Championship. You have to look at the big picture, but this is an important game.
And it was certainly a big game last year. The Chiefs won that game. We'll see if they can do it again on Thursday night. Get your tickets, get to Arrowhead. It should be a great one. For now, we appreciate you watching. I'm Tom Martin. He's Dayton Hughes. For everybody at our 65 Toss Power Trap Studios, we will see you next time here on Chiefs Rewind.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.